TGIF, and welcome to Concert Connections. I'm Kelly, and today I have with me Kathy Ellis.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me today. I've been really looking forward to this interview with you and to find out a little more about your story.
Yeah. So I'm from New York, actually.
See, now I didn't know that. I thought you were like born and raised in this area.
No.
So I thought you were our Kathy Ellis. So you're
I've been
actually
for a
from-
long time.
Oh, that's good to know. When did you actually come here to Connecticut? Would it be?
Yeah. So I came to Connecticut probably in 1989 when I joined the military. I was in the Navy, and I was stationed at the sub base, and I've been here ever since.
Wow. So, how long were you in the Navy for?
About 4 years. Yeah.
Did you want to get the hell out, or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. But they've been very good to me ever since.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. I actually started my music here in Connecticut around the time when I was in the Navy. I had an original band actually, and we played the old Billy Wilsons down at in Norwich, and the L&G when it was the L&G.
The old L&G.
Yeah. And so that lasted probably about maybe a year or so, and then I ended up in a relationship with this guy who did sound, and so he was running sound at the Rossellini's in in Stonington. That was in maybe 1990 or 92, or maybe even later than that, 94. And he was running sound for this band called Chain Reaction, and that band turned into Don't Tell Lisa. They asked me to jump up and sing with them that night, and I think I sang like a Candlebox song, and they asked me to join, and then that band became Don't Tell Lisa, and that was in like 95.
That's just amazing.
Yeah, and we were together for about 5 years until about 2000, and we kind of fizzled out. We were playing modern rock music, Alanis Morissette and Rage Against the Machine and all of that, and then it just kind of died out. I had some changes in my life and decided to go back to school. I got my master's degree, and I got
Good for you.
Yeah, I got my master's degree, and I also have a PhD. And sometime around 2016, the drummer of Don't Tell Lisa contacted me and asked me if I would be interested in getting the band back together. And so right now, so Don't Tell Lisa is myself and Paul Benoit, who's the drummer, and he was with us back in the 90s, and Joe Dre, who was also with us in the 90s. He's our guitar player. And then we had Carl Miller join us from No Shame. He plays guitar and keyboards, and Tim Fremont, who was also from No Shame. They were very, very close, join us. And we've been working on that band since 2017, and we're very, very busy and very popular in this area. Southeastern Connecticut is our area.
Well, yes, it is.
New London County, yeah.
You have a very welcoming crowd, I'd like to say.
Yeah.
I don't generally go to bars very often, but I would like to catch you at some point.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Yeah. And then, so, now we're here talking about the Zeppelin band, right?
Yes.
So, Paul Benoit, our drummer, he got injured and couldn't make a gig for Don't Tell Lisa, so we asked Mark Dupree if he could fill in for us. And at the time, we were playing some Zeppelin songs, just a couple, because we're primarily a dance party band.
Right.
And it sounded great, and at the end of that gig, I said, hey, Mark, we should probably put together a Zeppelin band. And I was kind of half kidding, and he took it totally seriously, and within 3 weeks, he had a lineup. We were ready to go. Like, let's start rehearsals.
And so there was really no rhyme, no reason. It just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. It was like, hey, why don't we do a Zeppelin band? And that's what we did. And, we're now, so the funny thing is that right now the lineup is, so it's me, and it's Joe Dre from Don't Tell Lisa, and it's Carr Miller from Don't Tell Lisa, and it's Mark Dupree and Mike Sweenar. And Mark and Mike play in a couple of other bands together, so they're very close. So it's like half of Don't Tell Lisa and half of a couple of other bands playing Zeppelin.
But it works.
It's very interesting.
Whatever works.
Yeah, it's very, very different too.
So now let me get back to your career. You know, you have PhD, and what is that PhD in?
Yeah, so my PhD is in addiction psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I got my master's in rehabilitation counseling, and I started my career working in a detox unit, and then I decided that I wanted to go further in my academic career. So I went back to school, and I worked at a couple of detoxes, rehabs, residential programs, and then when I finished my PhD and got licensed, I decided, then I was finally able to work in a hospital, because you can't, if you don't have the right license, they won't hire you in a hospital. So I've been working in the emergency, in an emergency department in a local hospital for the last 11 years doing psychiatric evaluations.
Well, good for you, helping one human at a time. And all I can say is full moons must be a blast for you.
Oh, yeah. And it's always a blast the next day from a gig, too. And don't get home.
I can imagine. Let's get to that. How do you balance Don't Tell Lisa, a Led Zeppelin tribute band, going to school, doing cakes, we'll talk about that too.
Yes.
And
being married, having a house.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, how do you do it?
So my days are very full. I luckily have a very supportive employer who offers a lot of PTO. So I have, I get like 8 weeks a year. So I use my time off very carefully. So if I have a gig, I'll take the next day off normally. So I honestly couldn't do all of that without my husband. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be able to do it all.
You got a good one.
Yeah, I mean, he carries the cakes when we deliver a cake. He carries all my gear. You know, he's pulling up my Spanx for me. You know, putting on my jewelry. You know, yelling and screaming his name when I can't find something. You know, poor Billy. This is what we say, poor Billy.
Poor Billy.
Poor Billy.
Billy's a good guy. She loves you, Billy.
Yeah, yeah. So I couldn't do it without him, and also, you know, the cooperation with the guys, because you know, I am essentially the band leader for both bands, and only because it kind of naturally happened that way. I do all the booking, I do all the accounting, I'll do all the advertising, I handle all the Facebook. You know, contact when taxes are coming up. I have an appointment with the accountant tomorrow. You know, I do all of that. I pay everybody, schedule the sound, and make sure it's all, you know. I do the set list, everything, right? And you know, so the guys, we really don't have to do anything except learn songs and show up. You know, there's a couple of guys that work a little harder. Paul makes all of our signs because he has a sign shop, so he does all of our T-shirts and he makes our signs, and he also selects. This is for Don't Tell Lisa. So he also selects all of our songs too. He's primarily the one that, you know, emerged as the person who's best at that. So he selects all our songs, and so he does a lot of work too. And Tim, our bass player, he manages the band fund. But, you know, primarily they just need to show up and learn songs, and I do everything else. So I'm kind of like the band wife, and I have like 6 band husbands, and that's really how it feels.
Well, yeah. Well, I think, you know, as a woman, I kind of get that. You know, we kind of like carry the majority of the load, and kind of. Yeah. And I also try to make everybody really happy. I don't want anybody to be upset. I want, you know, and that's difficult, right? It's difficult. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, we're not going to do it that way. This is the way we're going to do it, because I can't make everyone happy here, so we're just going to do it my way. And they're like, okay, Kathy. And that's really kind of how things work in the band. It's a very cooperative environment, and, you know, it's... Well, that's really good to know, because sometimes ego can get in the way, and I'm glad that you don't have to experience anything like that.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of that. people can be sensitive.
Right.
I don't think it's egos. I think it's, musicians are very sensitive people, especially if they're, if they're making a mistake or they're not playing something right. They know. Right. They know it, so they don't need to hear it, but sometimes they do, right? So it's hard to say and it's hard to hear. So this is where sensitivity comes in, where it's really important to be careful how you say things and how you interact with people,
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me because, I don't obviously have a band, so I don't kind of know how, you kind of think how it works, but you really don't know because you don't know how to tie another person's shoes till you're wearing their shoes, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of cooperation. It's a lot of learning people's personalities and understanding them and having empathy and appreciating their lives because, we're very, very busy, these bands, but we also have our lives and we have our families and we have our kids and we have our pets and we have our houses and our spouses. And so, we have to be very mindful of those things.
Right, and it's not always a good time.
Right.
All the time.
Right.
Because life just is not like that.
Right. It's very, very hard work sometimes.
So here you are, the masses are coming out to see you and enjoy, they're in that moment and they have no clue what has, all the hectic you've gone through to make that show happen for everybody. But thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I'd like to talk a little bit more about, you told us about your musical journey and its start, and let's get on your favorite artists.
Favorite artists? Oh gosh, you're going to be really shocked.
I know it's vast.
You're going to be really shocked about this answer. And so right now, Taylor Swift is number one on my list. I absolutely love her. I think she's a genius. I love all of her music, especially her latest songs. Billy and I are both big Taylor Swift fans. So that's kind of like the poppy side of me. And also, she's also very introspective also. And her lyrics are amazing. And I know there's probably people out there that'll disagree and whatever. So then, my rock side, Alanis Morissette is very important to me. I was influenced by her incredibly in the 90s. I've actually probably acted more like Alanis Morissette and sounded more like Alanis Morissette in the 90s than I did myself, which, is not necessarily a good thing, but it got me out there and got me learning how to perform.
It is a good thing. Like you said, it got you out there.
Yeah,
So.
I acted more like her than I did myself. And I don't do that anymore, but it got me out there. So she's very important to me. Obviously Led Zeppelin right now is extremely important to me. I grew up with Led Zeppelin, and right now it's extremely important because, this is what we're doing now with the band. Janis Joplin, Stevie Nicks, Ann Wilson, all these women that we grew up with, right? Yeah. So these are some of my favorites.
Oh, they're wonderful artists, let's face it. They'll live with us forever and for generation after generation, hopefully. Hopefully the music never dies, especially rock and roll. We got to keep it alive.
Yeah.
And you're keeping it alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any younger people coming to your shows? I know, like, you have people our age coming. How about the younger folks?
Yeah, so we don't see a lot of young people at our shows. I'm trying to do more work around that. So what we try to do is we're all in our 60s, right? Except for I think Tim is in his 50s and Paul's in his 50s, but we don't even look young,
No,
so,
you do.
Well, we're not young. So I try to do other things. We try to pick songs that the young people like. Young people like 80s, they like 90s, they even like the 70s songs. So we try to keep songs really, the ones we pick, really popular ones that would be popular with all ages. So last weekend we were at the Brown Derby and we did a veterans benefit.
How did that go for you?
Yeah, so this is just one of those shows where, you know, there's a lot of work to do, right? A lot of advertising. We had a lot of coordination with the Brown Derby and with the American Legion. How are we going to collect all these clothes? Where are we going to put them during the show? Where are we going to bring them? Who's going to distribute them? All these things we navigated, and all the advertising. And so the other thing about that show is that night, the 3 big bands in southeastern Connecticut were playing locally. And I was worried, you know, that because we share a lot of fans.
Right.
And, you know, they pick and choose where they want to go. If they saw Don't Tell Lisa last week, maybe they'll go see the other band next week. And so I was a little worried, you know, but we ended up with over 150 people paying at the door. And that's pretty big for Brown Derby.
Yes, that is.
I don't know what the capacity is there,
huge.
but it was pretty big.
I know the Derby, it's huge.
Yeah, I was so happy. And the other thing I did was I made this big, huge cake because I love making cakes. And when we have some sort of special show, I make a big sheet cake. And that took me all day. And it was decorated like a flag. So a lot of work went into that. But it was so worth it to see all these people. And there were so many other young people. There were younger people there too. So that was exciting to see, to answer your question.
That's really, really good to know. Now, did you get a lot of coats? Did you get a lot of...
So I don't know what was in the bags, but we had 3 truckloads, pickup truckloads.
Fantastic.
Filled
so
with
a job well done.
bags. And we took them to the American Legion that night. And I asked Bill Bauer, who works over at the American Legion and manages all the shows and the bands, if he needed some help. And he said, no, we got it. And so I don't know what was in the bags, but it was a lot.
That's wonderful. And I'd like to take this opportunity that Job Lot is offering. If you buy a coat for $40, they will give you your $40 back in credit. So buy somebody a coat and get that money back. You know,
that's awesome.
I'm just putting it out there. You just never know, because a lot of times people want to give and they just don't quite know how.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah,
just putting a little bug in somebody's ear. But getting back to the Led Zeppelin tribute band, I think a lot of people are wondering, gee, they haven't heard it. They may want to check out some clips. Can you tell us the 2 clips that we're about to see, or 2 songs?
Yeah, so I'm not sure which songs you're going to put up, but this is a professional video that we decided to do. We've been together for about 2 years, and we enjoy playing the bars, but we really want to get into theaters. So we knew that to get into a theater, we needed a good professional video. So we went into a professional audio studio, and we recorded 6 full Zeppelin songs. That was at Andrew Cruz's studio. Andrew Cruz, I call him Andy, works with some national acts. You can find him if you've heard of Chris Daughtry. He was an American Idol singer. He mastered his most latest CD, so you can find his name on that CD. He works with other bands like Nickelback, and but he has a beautiful studio. So we did all the audio at that studio, 6 full songs, and then we created a 6-minute medley from those 6 songs. And then we took that audio and we went to Mike Verone's production studio. He has like a sound video stage studio, kind of like this. And he videotaped us playing along to the audio. And so it looks like a live show, but it's not a live show. It's a studio.
It's really hard to sync up sometimes.
Yeah.
So congratulations on accomplishing that.
Yeah. So I actually sang, but I was not live. I was not plugged in for the video. You couldn't hear me because we kind of sang and played along to the audio. And the only people that were actually playing was the drummer and me. I was singing, but nobody was plugged in. So what you're going to see is us kind of playing along to the audio, and our video guys sunk it together. And so it's a 6-minute medley that we're using to get us into the theaters. But understand, I want to say this, that when we recorded the audio, we recorded it live. So there was no stopping. We did 3 takes of each song, and we picked the best take. So there was no overdubbing. There was no stopping and syncing. It was just live. It's all live. So it really is us and how we sound when we play out live.
Oh, fantastic. So can't wait to see it. Everybody, check it out. Well, welcome back. That was really quick.
I like that.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah.
We'd like to reiterate something because, by all means, it's their voices, their.
Yeah, so what I was trying to say is that we played this live in the studio. So this is how we sound when we're live. But in the video, right, we were playing, but we weren't plugged in. So I just wanted to clarify that. It's not like we weren't playing, but
Right.
Anyway.
Right. We don't want to date ourselves, but it's not a Milli Vanilli move.
Right.
People
exactly.
that are on stage and they're not plugging in and wired in, that kind of thing.
Right.
That's not going on when you go to a Don't Tell Lisa or a Led Zeppelin tribute band.
Right.
So. I had a question. Somebody wanted me to ask you a question because I guess they really like your presence on stage.
Okay,
and
sure.
They wanted to know who influences how you dress. Is it just what you like? Is it, specific artists?
Yeah. So, no, I don't think anyone. I don't think there's any influences on how I dress. I think this is kind of silly, but and personal. But I just want to look good, right? I don't want any rolls. I don't want anything sticking out. I want to look neat.
Yes.
I want to be poised. I want to, look happy. I want my eyes to be bright. I want to be smiling and or look rock and roll when, I'm very, very conscious of that, keeping my posture good. I think that I will say Taylor Swift does influence me on being conscious of my facial expressions so that I don't have like a dead face, that I don't look angry, that I'm not rolling my eyes, or that my eyes are bright and I'm smiling and I'm poised.
Right.
But other than that, I pick my clothes so that if I feel comfortable in them and they look good on me, that's how I pick my clothes, as long as they look good and they're comfortable.
Well, that all makes sense. Perfect sense to me. Because, I'll be honest, I like to go, well, Goodwill is no longer Goodwill anymore like it used to be, but I like to find that retro clothing, find that one piece of clothing that dates back from the 60s, like, oh, look what I got.
Yeah, I love that too.
It's just fantastic. Yeah. So I will wear used clothes, no, not a problem.
Yeah, I'll shop at a thrift store, sure.
That's where you get the great clothes.
Yeah.
And that is the truth. So going on to the next question. Why did you start a Zeppelin tribute band when you had a thriving band? Don't Tell Lisa.
Yeah, so, that's a really good question. Sometimes I ask that myself too. Like, what am I doing? This is crazy. Like I said earlier, it was just something that came up. I was half kidding. But it's so different than Don't Tell Lisa. It's so completely different. And I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do more rock. And we weren't doing a lot of rock back then. We still don't do a lot of rock. We're trying to do more rock. Don't Tell Lisa is more of a dance party band, more pop kind of, dancing music. And I wanted to do
rock and roll?
Yeah, and I wanted to use my voice more. Because the songs that we play in Don't Tell Lisa, a lot of them are guy songs. And a lot of them are not very challenging. So I wanted to challenge my voice more. I wanted to use my voice more. I wanted to kind of, I think that's why.
So that's pretty much,
yeah.
Because you just needed some rock and roll.
Yeah.
Just needed rock and roll, and
Yeah.
I totally get it because,
Yeah.
I'm total rock and roll. Born rock and roll. I'll die rock and roll.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit about some important shows that are coming up?
Yes.
Getting on to the shows.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Thanksgiving Eve.
So
Scotch Plains Tavern.
Scotch Plains Tavern, Thanksgiving Eve. So Don't Tell Lisa is playing there, and we do most of our holiday shows at Scotch Plains Tavern because it's one of those clubs. Well, it's not even a club; it's a restaurant where people just swarm there to see us. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's the location because it's in Essex, so it's pretty close to everything. Like it's a good, it's not too far away from anywhere, and so we do all of our holiday shows there, except for St. Patty's Day we do at the barn. So yeah, that's really exciting. That's going to be great, and it's the best night of the year for going out. People think New Year's Eve is, but it's actually Thanksgiving Eve is the busiest night of the year, as far as what I'm told. I think that's true.
I think it's true because I think everybody's geared up for turkey time, and it's like you get that extra day off, and you're ready to just party and have a good time, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Speaking of Thanksgiving, so then there's Thanksgiving, and then the day after Thanksgiving is our toy drive at the barn, and that's Don't Tell Lisa. And
so what are you asking people to do for that?
Yeah, so I called up Toys for Tots, and what we decided was we're going to do the same thing that we did for the veterans. We're going to ask people to bring an unopened toy, ages 0 to 17, and put it in a plastic bag, garbage bag, and we're going to have a couple of pickup trucks parked right in front of the barn with a big sign that says donations, and we're going to ask you to put your donations in the truck, and then we're going to drop them off at the Willimantic Toys for Tots the following day, and they're going to distribute them for Christmas.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd like to let everyone know, as she said, the age is 0 to 17.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the younger children are always thought of, and our teens are very much forgotten about during this time, because I used to collect items for wayward homes. I'm not even sure the appropriate terminology for that, but I used to make little things up for those forgotten people. I don't like anybody being forgotten. I'm very much an empath. I don't know if you realize that.
Yeah.
But I want to take care of everybody, which is totally impossible to do these days. You got to sometimes put yourself first. But yeah, think of the teens this year, because generally the young ones do not get forgotten about. Not all the time. Think of try to think, just do the best you can.
Yeah. If I would be honest, I wouldn't know what to get a teenager. Like I think we need some ideas for that so that I can post that on the page.
Well, I used to actually make up like grooming bags, hair gels and perfumes and brushes and combs and just things of that nature. And I used to make up like little individual ones, say 25 of them, so they could be distributed between 25 girls. And I actually used to get, cards back, and it really would make my efforts. It made me feel good.
Well, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, just like, the young girls that need a dress for prom, getting involved with that as well. I haven't done that in a while, and it seems like I should look into next year. Once again.
Yeah.
So, okay, we have Thanksgiving Eve, we have day after Thanksgiving, Now, December 12th, the Mystic Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah.
the Velvet Mill.
Yeah. So that's an exciting show. That's Don't Tell Lisa. It's a Thursday night. It's Mystic Chamber of Commerce gives out awards. I'm sorry, I don't know what the awards are for. I mean, I do, but I don't remember. But it's primarily for that reason. It's an award show, and Don't Tell Lisa's going to play after they give out the awards, and it's an open bar, and there's going to be local restaurants that will have booths. It's at the Velvet Mill, and they're going to bring their best foods for us to sample, and so that's included in the price. It's a little pricey ticket. It's $125 a person, but like I said, it's an open bar, and it's just food plus Don't Tell Lisa. We're going to do a regular 3-hour show. It's cocktail attire, so it's going to be really fun and really fancy, and it's just going to be a great time to just dress up and enjoy some alcohol and food, and it's
That's my kind of gig. I love to dress up, and I just like upscale.
Yeah. So we're going to be all dressed up. We're going to be in our Sunday best. That's going to be fun to watch.
Formal attire.
Well, it's cocktail attire, but not formal. Attire. You don't have to be formal, but cocktail attire. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, no jeans, everybody.
Yeah,
no jeans to this one. You can relax when you go home. So then it brings us to December 14th. There's a big one coming up for you. And that's in the Wolf Den.
Oh, December 14th.
Yeah,
Yes.
big one, Wolf Den.
Yes.
Woohoo!
So we love playing the Wolf Den. We're so pleased and grateful that they are allowing us to play. I mean, when they gave us a date, we were so excited. It's probably the best place to see us. The sound is great. The light show is great. The stage is great. The dance floor is great. It's just great.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
Yeah, and the only thing is that it's a short show. It's only 90 minutes. It's from 8 to 9:30, but you need to get there early because it will be sold out for sure. We've already got, I think, probably about close to 500 people responding to the event. Of course, not all those people will come, but we're usually at capacity in that club, and they have a 450 capacity, something like that.
So get your butt in line, get in
early. Yeah.
Well, that kind of works, too. The hour and a half. A lot of people don't stay out as late as they used to, and so you can get out there and see some live music, which I'd like to talk about. It's really important to support the artists in the area. Support the local music scene. It's very, very important that you all go out there and you're doing this for us. Well, for yourself, I know, but you're doing it for the people. I know that.
Yeah.
And you put so much into it, and I really feel, get dressed, put your jeans on, and go out and see some live music.
Yeah.
It'll change you.
It really amazes me the amount of people that see live music, that enjoy cover bands, right? It's like this is what they want to do every weekend, right? They want to dance to a cover band, and that's awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I know everything kind of slowed down for a while, and I see everything is just like amping up. People are going out more than like 10 years ago. Everything like slowed down.
Yeah.
It was like people were struggling to get those, people to see shows, and then, the world shut down, and then we came back, and it's like everybody's ready to live again. Thank you.
Yes.
Live. That's all.
Right.
Not hard. That's all I have to say about that.
I don't want to forget the Zeppelin show that's coming up.
Yes. Can you tell me about that?
So we've got a few Zeppelin shows coming up. So November 22nd, which is next Friday, we're at the Barn. It's one of the places that we enjoy playing. And sometimes we're sold out there, so it's $10 to get in. You can buy your tickets in advance if you want. Then we're at Strange Brew in Norwich on January 25th. We so I don't know if you know, for those of you who don't know this, I don't know who wouldn't know this because Strange Brew is so popular. They do a lot of kind of tribute nights, and so they only do, they use us for Zeppelin, but it's only one Zeppelin show a year. So far for the last, I think it's 3 years, they've chosen us. I'm so excited about that. I might be wrong. It might be 2 years. No, it's 3 years. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So January 25th, we're at Strange Brew. Love that place.
I really think I'm going to have to catch that show.
It's a great place to see a live show.
I really love the venue.
Yeah,
and
it's great.
I'll let you in on a little secret. Back in, I don't know, 2003 or 4, Jason Wallace and Bill Wallace at 15 and 16 were actually on Concert Connections.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
He's all grown up and so successful.
I know.
Oh my
it
God.
just blows my mind to look at that footage and see how young and and he's still as warm and beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
And such a great job. Such a great music person. Just so supportive and just really knows how to do it. The Rose Arch Festival. He just he's got that in the bag.
Just took, you know, I'm just so proud of him to take that over because it was dying. You know, we needed that to come back.
Yeah. Great job.
Yes. We
really great guy. Yeah. He's hard to get a hold of, but he's a great guy.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then we're at, on February 1st, a really important gig at the Marilyn Rodman Performing Arts Center in Foxborough, Mass. on February 1st. We're very, very excited about that show. It's our first real theater gig, and that's why we made this video. They love the video and they're using it in their promotion, so we're really excited about that gig.
Oh, fantastic. So you're saying it's a theater gig. Can you tell me the difference between a theater gig and, say, a bar gig?
Yeah.
Is there a big difference?
Well, the negotiations are a lot different. There's a contract. There's, you know, rather than getting a flat fee, you kind of share the ticket sales.
Okay.
You negotiate that. I'm sure some big acts probably get a flat fee, but my understanding is most don't. It's, you know, it's more formal. There's really no dancing. People are sitting down, right? And they're coming to see Zeppelin in like a theater atmosphere, right? Whereas at a bar, and you know, they serve alcohol at a theater, but it's out in the concession stand. You know, it's a very different atmosphere. And they actually, and it's a lot more high paying. Right, you make a lot more money.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's a lot more money. It's probably, you know, 5 times more money.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
You know, let's just hope that the tickets sell because, you know, we're actually playing for a portion of the ticket sales, so that's important. And, you know, a bar atmosphere is, you know, the atmosphere is just completely different. People are at the bar, they're talking, they're dancing. You know, it's just a completely different atmosphere.
So now how do you handle that? I've never always thought about this. You know, the artist is on stage, they're performing, and people are chattering and not really paying attention.
Yeah.
Does that bother you at all?
Not really. It's just the way it is in the bars. You know, I guess you know that they're paying attention or that they care when you're done playing and they clap. You know, if they're not clapping or yelling after you're done playing a song, then that's bothersome. Yeah, because you kind of wonder what are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? What can we do to get people? Yeah.
Well, that's good to know because you know I have a lot of questions like that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just don't know how everything works, and just get those little details. It's kind of cool. You know, they know the ins and outs of everything. Now that brings me to the question: you played the Kate.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about that and how it transpired? Now, number one, what was it that you were playing in?
Yeah, what was that whole thing?
Was it 60s explosion?
Yeah, what was that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So it was called British Legends of Rock.
Okay, that's what it was.
And it's really a funny story. So,
well, let's hear your funny story.
All right, here you go. So our very first Zeppelin show was at the barn, and the barn posted this video of us playing rock and roll. I particularly didn't like the video. The sound wasn't very good. It wasn't a very good video. Not anything to do with the barn, but it just wasn't a very good video. But like a year later, I get this phone call while I'm at work, and this guy, I answer the phone. hi, this is Kathy, and he just starts talking. Oh, you must be the singer for the band, the Zeppelin band that I saw on the barn. And he's just talking and talking and talking. He's telling me about he's got this British Legends of Rock and he needs a singer, and he really liked the way I sounded on that video. And I'm thinking, that video? Really? And then eventually I just had to say, who is this?
Who are you?
What do you want? And that's how it all started. And he started dropping all these names, and he was saying that, he's got these players from the Rolling Stones, from gosh, I can't even think of them now. Even the bass player, I can't think of his name now. His name is Scott. He's a great guy. Used to play with Johnny Winter, and he's also played with Zeppelin.
So all these session guitarists and all these great people.
Right, and so he was like, I was very impressed. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, I'll do it. And he didn't even want to audition me. He's like, okay, these are the gigs, these are the dates, these are the rehearsals. I need you to show up this time, this place. And that's how that all came about. And, I guess it was exciting because it was my first chance to play in the theater. And this is how we actually got the Marilyn Rodman.
Well, that's one thing. One thing feeds off of another.
Yeah, that was something. We played the Marilyn Rodman Theater, and right across the street there was this brewery, and everybody not everybody, but a bunch of people from the audience went over after the show to the brewery, and we packed all of our stuff. And I said to my husband, let's go over to the brewery and have something to drink and eat. And we took a bunch of people with us. And when we walked in, I am not kidding you, the place stood up and clapped.
Wow.
It was just shocking. I've never had that happen to me before. So I felt so happy. It was, oh my God, thank you. And that's how I got the Marilyn Rodman gig, because it was such a great show. But there was so much work. I now had 3 bands going, and one time we were playing a private gig, and honestly, I was so tired from all the work I do that I didn't even realize we were playing Saturday Nights All Right for Fighting, Elton John, and I was singing Bitches Back while they were playing Saturday Nights All Right for Fighting. I was singing the wrong song. And I was like, what happened? What is going on with me? And I just said, I can't, I'm so sorry. That's never happened to me before, and I just can't keep doing this. And it was upsetting for everybody. We were all sad, and so I played a couple more shows, and then that I just couldn't do it anymore.
Well, you realized it, you took on too much.
I took on too much. It was way too much.
Well, yes, it goes to show you, just...
Yeah,
you got to think of you.
Yeah, right. I had to say no, and it was a shame because it was all theater gigs, and it was good money too.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah.
But that goes to show you that your band was more important than money.
Yeah.
So that tells me a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Money does not always isn't the main key.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that was a lot of traveling too. We traveled 5 hours to one show, staying overnight because you can't travel 5 hours back. So that took money out of the pocket.
Well, if they want to, put you in a private plane and pay for your hotel and all that, sure. I'm sure you'll sign up. But everybody's probably saying, well, we'd like to see a little bit more of what this Led Zeppelin Tribute Band is all about. So I think at this time we're going to show the last clip that we have.
Okay.
Can you tell us anything about that, or just?
I still don't know what clip it is.
So you're going to see a clip of Kathy Ellis in her Led Zeppelin Tribute Band. Check it out. And just like that, we're back.
I was just telling Kelly, like when you watch Mark Dupree play drums, he looks like it's a mix between like jazz and swing and big band. He's so relaxed, and he gets this huge rock sound out of this kind of da 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 da.
So did he ever play jazz? Or
I don't know, but he's amazing. It's uncanny to watch.
Well, they must be talented because they're with you.
Oh.
You know? So, well, I feel like, you know, you're like our own, even though you weren't born here, you're like our little infamous Kathy Ellis. And you're humble, you're kind, you're a good person.
Thank you.
You know, and that tells a lot.
Thank you so much. What
And
a nice thing
getting
to
back
say.
to like musicians and stuff and sensitivity and being careful with your words with musicians. I mean, obviously they've got to be a little sensitive because they're writing music. They're writing about feelings. So, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, and now have you ever went down that avenue to actually write music? Or write lyrics and write your own songs or things like that?
Yeah, so like I said, back in the early 90s when I was in the military, I had an original band. And we had about 45 songs, and I wrote them all. But you know, if I were to be honest with myself, they're just not good enough. Maybe people will say that I'm just being a little hypercritical or modest or whatever, but I just never felt that they were good enough. I mean, I know what good music is. I know what a good lyric is. I know what a good bridge is, what a good song sounds like. And, you know, they just, to me, weren't good enough. And so I kind of knew that about myself. And although they let us play the L&G and they let us play Billy Wilson's and, it just never panned out. And like I said, at the time when I met the guys from Don't Tell Lisa, I was doing the original band, and I'm like, okay, they invited me to sing with them. This is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do covers. And you know what? People love covers.
Yes, they do.
They love it. They love to come see bands.
Well, let's face it, you can't actually go out and see all of that music. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Well, not impossible, but you could do it.
Right. If you're a Grateful Dead fan, you can see them every show, I guess.
Yeah, probably. But, a little easier just to go see Don't Tell Lisa.
Right.
Or the Led Zeppelin Tribute Band if you want to go see Led Zeppelin. I mean, let's face it, we're never going to get to see Led Zeppelin again.
Yeah.
You know, sadly. Yeah. That actually brings me to one of my times. I was supposed to actually interview Robert Plant after he was doing the Mighty Rearranger tour. And that was in the late 90s. And I was very excited about this.
I bet.
And lo and behold, he goes and ties one on with Deep Purple the night before and cancels the show at Mohegan Sun, in which they never had him back. So I didn't get my chance. But I've met plenty of rock stars, and they're no different than us, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
So this brings us to like where we want to show another clip before we run out of time.
Okay.
So
this is my favorite. I think we're going into Kashmir and I can't remember the other one now. But yeah, this would be my favorite clip.
Well, I love Kashmir. I love Physical Graffiti. It's my favorite album of Zeppelin, which there's only 9 of them. So check it out.
Let me take you there.
welcome back. Just like magic, we're back.
Just
we're
so
back
happy with that. She did such a great job on that video. What a great job.
I have to agree. The saturation, the sound, everything is just
a great job.
You know, just everything pieced just right. And I know that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's MB Productions out of Bristol, and you know, we spent probably about 5 hours. I had to. He videotaped each one of us individually like 3 or 4 times, and then the band 3 or 4 times, and so it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but yeah, great job.
Well, I'm glad you got your compilation done.
Yeah.
And he did do a fabulous job. And that brings me to the infamous question: what's the future hold for the Led Zeppelin tribute band?
Well, I sure hope it's a big one. I really do.
My wishes for you is that
I sure hope so.
That your journey just keeps continuing, getting bigger and better.
Yeah.
I only see it going one way.
Well, I hope so. So, you know, we did this video because we want to get into theaters, and, you know, I know that there's a lot of Zeppelin bands out there, a lot of big Zeppelin bands, but I think we're a little different, right?
Yes.
We've got a female singer, right?
That's right.
And we're all very talented people, and we've got a modern edge to us, even though we're all up there in age. We've got our own little spin on things, and I think that it's different and special. And so I'm hoping that the theaters will see that and will hire us, and we can get out of the. I don't want to get out of the bars. I don't want to say that. I you know, just get into theaters. That's what I'm hoping. And
it's understandable.
Yeah, and I want to play the Indian Ranch. So if you're watching, that's what I want, the Indian Ranch.
I'm feeling it happening this summer. I really do. I just got this little flash. So that's my projection for you.
All right.
That you
Thank
play
you.
at the Indian Ranch this summer.
Yeah, that's my goal.
It's going to be
get
that
to the
early.
Indian Ranch.
You watch. You're going to say, hey, Kelly, you know what? You know what just happened?
I hope so.
You know, just like we were saying before you came in, like you making it big, and you were on Concert Connections. You know, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
I really look forward for that happening, and I'm sure you would too. So at this time, I'd like to give out some contact information. Contact Concert Connections TV at Facebook. I don't know. Contact me on Facebook. Yeah, there. There. Contact me there. And we are booked through January. We are looking at artists coming in for February. And if you'd like to be on Concert Connections and tell your story, and you have a good band, contact me. Because if your band sucks, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go there.
You just went there, Kelly.
Yeah, I know. I'm really.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes.
That's all right. We can always cut it out, right?
That's right. If I choose to. But you know what? I'm just so damn honest. I'm like, I just don't care anymore. And that's the beautiful thing about age.
Well, I guess we don't suck.
That's right. You don't suck.
Okay, can you cut that out? Please cut that out.
That's right. So I think also you want to contact Kathy, Indian Ranch. If you want to contact Kathy Ellis and have her Led Zeppelin tribute band play, this is the number you would call.
Yes, that's right. That's it right there. No, that's not it.
That's not the number.
That's not the number. Now we can fix it. It's 8122. Did I give you the wrong number? Sometimes I do that.
You did?
I hit the 3 instead of the 2. I do that all the time. I'm so sorry.
They're trying to fix it now.
Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed.
So don't call that number after all, but you can contact.
It's 8122-860-705-8122.
There you go. That's the number. You can reach out to Kathy on her Facebook page or Instagram. I'm sure she's on every platform.
Yes.
Reach me. No matter, there's plenty of ways to reach out to people. So I think.
Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome.
Thank you so much.
You know?
What a great time.
Yeah. So I think at this point, we're just wrapping up the show.
All right.
And we usually generally throw up the horns together.
What's that mean? Oh.
So until next week, long live rock and roll. Ah!